As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff and Booner. It's Thursday, October 30th. A couple days away from game day. Lions, Vikings. Lots to get to today. The coordinator spoke. John Morton had some interesting things to say, or I guess an interesting thing to say about Jameson Williams. He addressed that situation. Kelvin talked about LSU. We got Sam Flannel joining the show at 9 o'clock. So we'll have Flannel on. Hopefully no technical difficulties for our good friend Flannel. And then we also have Tyler Forness joining the show. He covers the Minnesota Vikings for A to Z Sports and does some other things there locally. So we'll have Tyler on at about 8:30. So we'll talk about the coordinators. We'll get to Tyler. We'll preview some of the game. Lots to get to today, Boone. And we also have Thursday Night Football. For probably a game where I would have no interest to actually playing, but watching. Ravens, Dolphins. Good luck with that one. Hopefully you're tuning in. If you're watching both, kudos to you. Appreciate you. But hit the like button on the stream and subscribe because we love you too. How you doing, Boone? How you feeling?
Doing good. I disagree with you. I'm watching every football game. I started to realize this week that football season's we're hitting the back half of football season, which is one of the saddest things of all time. Like we're going into week, I think, 10 of college football, or week 9, or week 10, I think, which is like we're football is going to be over quicker than we thought. So, Jeff, I want you to take that back. I want you to cherish every single football game we have until the end of the year, even if it's a bad one. Football's football.
Yep. That's fair.
I mean, what do we? And by the way, too, Halloween tomorrow. Can't wait. So pumped up. I really enjoy. I tell people all the time the best time of the year is this stretch where it starts in the fall and you get to the new year. Like that's my favorite stretch of the year is September until January 1st, and then after January 1st all the way back until September, it's the worst of all time. Besides March with March Madness, but outside of that, yeah. And this starts like the best stretch of holidays of all time. We got Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and New Year's. Like it's like, here we go. I live for this and a lot of football.
Hey, by the way, tomorrow Halloween will be live, different time. 1 p.m. will be live, 1 to 3. So no 8 to 10 p.m. show, 1 to 3 p.m. will be live. And then we have the night off, Halloween night. So for those who are watching right now, if you're watching today live, it's 1 to 3. If you're watching tomorrow in the morning, we're live at 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's when we'll be live tomorrow. Slight change for Halloween. But yeah, Halloween is tomorrow. We'll be, we're wearing our costumes, right? We'll be wearing something on the show, correct?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. Do you have your costume?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rocking them.
All right. There you go. It'll be a good one. But the coordinator spoke, like I kind of talked about earlier. Kelvin Shepard spoke about LSU, the trade deadline. John Macroon asked some really good questions to him. So let's hear from Kelvin Shepard about that LSU. Because, by the way, I'll give credit to where credit's due. Lukas Klotz tweeted this out super early and got absolutely shit on. And not that it's true, not that he's actually going to go to LSU, but now it's an actual conversation, even if it doesn't happen. Lukas tweeted that one out early, so kudos to him for that one. But here's Kelvin Shepard talking about the LSU job and kind of it being open, his thoughts on it, so on and so forth. Let's take a listen to Kelvin.
Have you kept up with what's going on with LSU, and what does that school team in the SEC, what do they kind of need in their next head coach?
Obviously, I've kept up with them. That's my alma mater. I keep up with them every year, every week. When you cut me open, I kind of tell people because this thing's running right now. You cut me open, I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm all line. No, I've spent 5 years, well, 6 if you include the year coaching down there. That place molded me into the man that I am today and still becoming. You cut me open, I'm a liger. I think that's what they call it. Half lion, half tiger. But, you know, that school expects championships, and they should. We hosted a trophy when I was there. They hosted one after I left there. The standard down there, just like we've created the standard here through hard work, through what you put out there, is championships. It's not just being around, it's not being competitive, and it's not winning. We should win. That's what we put ourselves in position to do over the course of time. It's championships, and that school deserves that. That fan base deserves that, and I know the people down there in place will make sure that happens moving forward.
Be clear, are you interested in that job at all? Your name has been bandied about for the LSU job.
I can't be interested in something I have no idea about. So, I'm interested in beating the Minnesota Vikings. I'm tasked with another Tiger this week in Justin Jefferson, since we're on a Tiger conversation. And that's a tall one. He's one of the LSU greats. So that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing us come off this bye week and stop cutting ourselves short of the potential, I believe, who we could be as a defense and as a team. It's time to make this final push, and it starts with us limiting points, putting our offense in certain situations to capitalize off us giving the ball back to them. So it's a lot of things you can get into and speculate about, but the truth of the matter is nobody has contacted me about anything dealing with a job outside of anything I'm doing right now, and that's the honest truth.
Oh, I mean, by the way, Dave Burkett kind of fouled that question up with probably what everyone wanted to know, which is, do you have any legit interest? Which there's two things with this. One, I think Kelvin is going to stay in the NFL. I think that's what he wants to do. I think he wants to be a head coach of one day. And number two, and we talked about this before, I don't see LSU. It's because I mean, Joe Klotz said it, and I actually agree with him. He believes it's a top 3 job in all of college football. I mean, you could argue top 3,
for sure,
top 5, whatever. I don't see them hiring a guy like Kelvin. Even if there was interest from Kelvin's side, they're probably going to get a more established head coach. But the fact that Dave Burkett even said there's talk out there, there's no talk. It's just people saying that would be nuts if Kelvin actually went there.
Well,
like
see, that's where
and LSU fans wanting.
I would disagree. I thought I was with you, and I thought the same thing until today. And I was on Twitter, on college football Twitter today, Jeff. There's a lot of people on college football Twitter and like people who cover college football, like high level people who are like, Kelvin Shepherd should be an actual option for LSU. And I was shocked because we actually talked about this yesterday or the other day when the LSU job happened. I don't remember, it was Wednesday maybe. And we're both like lockstep. Like there's no way like they get a younger coach who's never been an experienced head coach, all of that. I still don't think that maybe it's going to happen. As things start to heat up a little bit, like when I opened some Twitter up today and I start kind of doing a little bit of research, I start seeing college football personalities that, you know what I mean, cover, college football as a whole, throwing his name out there. And those are like, like you said, like when fans are saying it, it's like, okay, that's just like like when the Lions was open, or when the OC was open, I threw out Dan Orlovsky. Like that's not happening. Like there are like these dream scenarios or these random scenarios where like, hey, this could happen. When you start seeing like reporters and people who like cover, maybe not reporters, but people who have big opinions, the Josh Pates and like those types of guys, yeah, okay, now there's maybe a little bit of traction here. And when that does happen, and you know how this game works, like especially in coaching carousels, when some names get thrown out by some reporters and people who cover the college football as a whole, those guys actually might have a chance. And like for Shep's name today to actually get starting to run out there and like felt like there was a little more traction today. I feel like at this point, I'm with you. I don't think a first-time head coach at the LSU level is maybe the smartest move. I could be wrong with that, but I feel like Kelvin Shepherd's going to end up getting an interview, and he's going to be a candidate for this job. The more kind of the time goes by, and then did you see kind of the news today with that job? The Louisiana governor had a press conference today. This is one of the most
the AD is not
yeah. So he had a press conference today that I've never seen a governor do this. Said the athletic director, the guy who is his main job is to hire coaches and get these contracts done and kind of run the programs. He will not be hiring the next head coach. And the governor said that the AD won't do it. So I don't know the process they're going to go about doing it. But obviously, they're going to be very thorough with it. I mean, you're right. It's a top 3 coach, and you could argue it's a top 10 in all of football. Like I know a lot of people are like, well, the NFL is the NFL. The top tier, when you're talking about the Alabamas, the LSUs, like some of these, like they're getting paid more than a lot of NFL head coaches, right? Like this is like people's lives. Like people live for college football down south in the SEC country. So it's a big deal, man. And it hit me today. I do think, Jeff, I truly do believe, I think Kelvin Shepherd's going to end up getting an interview for this. I think he might be, let's say, a top 5 candidate for it. I'm interested to see how, I don't know how that would work. Have we seen, I don't know. But to see if he gets the job or if he interviews for it, does he just leave the Lions mid-season and does someone else take over? Like,
that's
how does that even work out? That worries me.
That's where I have doubt, is because I think the timeline from which a college team gets a head coach versus the NFL schedule, I just think you'd have to literally wait till late January to just hire Kelvin, which they usually start everything, the process, in like early January. So they would be behind the 8 ball, essentially waiting for Kelvin, which again, maybe they do. I think that's something you probably do for someone who has a large pedigree in college football. I don't know. I would be interested to see if even the governor comes out and is like, yeah, you're not hiring the next head coach. They probably want some sort of slam dunk. And I'm not saying Kelvin's not. Well, they probably want someone with a little more experience on that level. I mean, this is Kelvin's first coordinator job ever. You know,
I think
you're in that coordinator role. You know,
just the light of it, though, and Jeff, like, you know this, like, when you're hiring, you probably want to get a couple candidates that are a little different, like someone that's very experienced to come in there and pitch what they can do. And you probably want a guy like Shep, who has been under Dan Campbell. That's probably pretty attractive for an LSU. Like, hey, look what Dan Campbell did with the Detroit Lions. Shep's been there the last 6-7 years with Dan Campbell, or 5 or 6 years. And he has obviously the energy, and he's from LSU. Fans want him. People love him. And you just think about the culture that he could build there. It is attractive. Like, literally the only negative is, hey, he just hasn't been a head coach yet. So you don't know how he would handle certain situations as a head coach. But I think, like, when you're talking about like who he is as a person, as a coach, is, you know, X's and O's, and
yeah, I'm just looking.
You know, he can control a locker room. Yeah,
like,
that's why
Lane Kiffin's probably the easy answer for them,
for sure.
You know, something like that. But yeah, you never know. I'm not saying it's impossible.
It's a weird spot for him, though, too, isn't it? Because he did just get his first DC job, and obviously, like, he wants to probably be a head coach in the NFL, and his trajectory right now is to be a head coach in the NFL. But if you would ask a guy like him, let's say when he started his coaching career, like, hey, you want your goal is to be a head coach in the NFL, right? And he's probably like, yeah. Is there any NFL or college coaching jobs that can, like, deter you from that? And he's like, yeah, if I ever had an opportunity to take the LSU job, he probably is like, I would take that in a heartbeat. And I think there's every coach around the country has that one job that they're like, because think of, like, if he passes on it and he never gets an opportunity to take that LSU job again, like, let's say he interviews, they offer to him, and he's like, I want to stay in Detroit and then get an NFL job. You know, you got to, that's a big decision, man. You may never, as an LSU grad, someone who played there, you may never get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
It's a weird position to be in. When I was thinking about it on my drive home today, I was just like, I would hate to be him if he got offered that job.
Because you turn from, like, being a head coach in the NFL, there's a lot more structure. I mean, they're adding more structure in college football, but if you go be the head coach at LSU, you're handling, I mean, you're the head coach, of course, and you got to bring in coordinators because there's so much that the head coach does in college football as opposed to the NFL in terms of recruiting, handling guys, keeping guys happy, you know, which the NFL does that, but you're worrying about guys transferring every single year. You know, there's not a lot of structure in college football. It's a lot, you know, that's why some guys just, like Nick Saban, just said, screw this, I'm out. I don't know. I would think, and this is just my prediction, is I think Calvin stays in the NFL. But again, to your point, it's like the LSU job. It's an incredible job. So we'll see what happens with that. You know, what is he going to say? He's in the middle of the season. He's not going to actually say anything. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be like, yeah, it'd be a dream job. I mean, he's in the middle of his first coordinator job. Like, he's not.
Hit you with the scenario?
Yeah.
Let's say Shep interviews for it. Say they offer him the job. He takes it. Say that comes up in December. He leaves. What do you do?
He leaves middle of the season? Or
I mean, wouldn't he have to, right? Like, if he did get that job, say he did get it, they reached out to him and they kind of go through it and they're like, we love Shep. We want to bring him as
I'm going to be honest, that would be fucked up.
But that's like, if he was to take the job, like, you can't, in the college football, you can't wait till February. Like,
no, I'm not saying the timeline is.
The portal closes at some point, like NIL. You got to work.
If he was actually allowed to do that, I don't know how it works. Like, contract, like, if they would just let him go and was like, that's cool. I think that's shitty. Like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, like Xavier D, he's got a contract, but his contract's probably like a 2 or 3 year deal. It's probably not a 1 year deal is the problem. So it's like, and this is where I think people need to understand as well, like the college coaching carousel, or not even college, like coaching carousel in general, there's literally no accountability for it. Like you get coaches that get bought out for $50 million, but then you get coaches who sign 5-year deals and they'll leave tomorrow, for a different job, and they'll leave the program high and dry. And it happens in the NFL with coordinators.
Well, to leave middle of a Super Bowl team to go to the college, I think that would hurt his.
That's why I'm like
that's tough.
If he gets the job, is he just coaching both? Is he doing both jobs?
Well, that's why I don't.
You guys see what I'm saying? People are like,
it's going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? But I think that would be personally, that would be basically a. I don't want to say I'm not going to say it'd be like a career suicide, but that's a tough look. If it doesn't work at LSU, to be like, okay, can I come back? It's like, bro, you ditched out a Super Bowl team mid-season. Like I would. So
you would be mad if if he took the LSU job.
Yeah, left in the middle of the year.
But the problem is, no matter what, it has to be in the middle of the year because college football, you can't wait till February.
You agreed to do this job, like you finish it out, like right before the playoffs. That would be right before the playoffs.
But okay, so answer my question though. What would the Lions do?
Well, if I was Brad, I'd say you ain't leaving. Like fuck no, Dan Campbell would be like you ain't leaving. But if they actually let him go, they probably would promote Casey Rogers, and I think all of Lions fan base would shit on him, and rightfully so. I think he would be shit on, and I think that would be well deserved because that would be terrible. I don't even remember the last time that's ever been. I think that would be like historic, just to abandon a Super Bowl run, basically. Middle of the year.
That's what I was trying to think today. I was even just trying to think in general of like any college coordinator that left for a college job recently. I don't know.
That would be. I see Xavier's comment. At least Ben finished the year. I mean, that's
see,
like that.
The problem I run into, like, I would be very frustrated about it, obviously, but it's just like the issue that I just run into. It's just like I can't. I'm a really nice guy. Like, I would just be happy that he got his dream job. That's his dream job, man. LSU head coach.
Dude,
I would be happy for that. That's just me, though.
But that's commitment. You signed a commitment.
I can't listen, dude. You say that, and people put that in the chat. Like, cool. Like, every single coach in the NFL, like Ben Johnson left. I bet you his contract wasn't up.
No,
I bet you AG's contract wasn't up. But he signed a commitment for how many years?
No, that's not the same. You know that.
It is. I mean, a contract. If I sign a 3-year contract,
they made it through one season at least. I mean, oh my gosh, that's not even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's just I could see. I don't want to be negative on Shep for getting his dream job, dude. Like, I would be happy for the guy.
You're looking at it the wrong way. That your word, like you're basically abandoning an entire team. That So what do you want him to do if he gets that job? He
decline it?
You tell us if you want to hire me, you got to hire me after the season. That's how it goes, man.
But then they're like, there's NIL and transfer portal. And then next year he has a bad team next year because he wasn't in the transfer portal. So it screws his career.
I mean,
up.
Too bad. You signed to be the DC of this football team. So
Randall Small says every NFL coordinator is year 2. That's wrong. Ben Johnson signed an extension a few years back. Like, it's not 1 year. You're not signing 1-year deals. I don't think people realize head coaches leave all the time in the middle of contracts. But coordinators all the time.
You're talking about a middle of a year, Boone.
It happens.
No, when does a
all the time? I've seen in colleges coordinators and head coaches leave in the middle of the year for other head coaching jobs.
Roster.
It's probably his dream job though. That's why it's like
that would be after the year. Do whatever the hell you want.
I would not be mad. I want it on record. I would not be mad at Shep.
That's crazy. Dude.
I would be happy that he got his dream job.
Well, God bless you, because I think 99% of
you can't knock a guy like.
No, you knock him for that.
Who cares about his contract?
No, it's not about the contract. It's about the commitment you made to this team to help them win a Super Bowl, and you throw up the deuces middle of the year. Like that
for his dream job.
So you believe in fucking everyone that gives you Dan Campbell, who gave you that opportunity, who believed in
I bet you he would sit down with Dan and be like, Dan, this is it. What do you think? And if he left, Dan would probably be the one that goes, you have to take this.
I doubt Dan would say
like Dan wouldn't sit in the room and like I'll tell you what, Shep wouldn't take it if Dan said, dude, you got to finish it. If Dan sat down with him and legit was like, dude, you can't leave us, Shep would stay. But if Shep actually left, you know for a fact that he sat in a room with Dan Campbell and Dan Campbell approved of it and was like, all right, you have to do this. Dan's like they say it all the time in there. Like it's the most honest front offices of all time.
I'm talking about middle of like if Dan says that, Dan's an idiot. Like Dan, one of the best defensive coordinators in the league is on your roster and you're like, yeah, bro, go fly. Like, no, we're trying to win a Super Bowl, baby. This is what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't. I get what you're saying. Like, I hear you.
You're happy for God. Like, no,
I am because like I hear you. It's impossible in today's college football if you want to get a head coaching job to do it in February. It doesn't happen. Like, that's why. Hey, Jeff, old man Jeff, hop off of your old man Rivers boat and welcome to the new college football era. Like. If you want to be a head coach in college football, you can't take over the program in March anymore. Not how it works. Sorry. It has to be in December. It has to be in November because the transfer portal closes in January now going forward. Like it's what it is. And it's like you could be mad all you want. Welcome to the new age. You sound like an old man that is mad about the NIL and mad about players getting paid.
Guys are leaving all the time to do this. Is an anomaly, Booner. Like what you're saying is like,
but it's something new that's going to start happening more often because of of the NIL and transfer portal.
I don't think you're going to see coordinators leave middle of the year on Super Bowl contending teams for college football. If that's what you're insisting, that is not going to happen.
So tell me what, Bills fans should be mad if Joe Brady left the Bills to go to get the LSU job.
In the middle, Booner, in a Super Bowl chase, just going, I'm out.
What happens if, to your point, what happens if Lane Kiffin takes the job? Ole Miss fans.
Lane Kiffin's in college football. Congrats.
Yeah, but he is coaching a national championship worthy team right now.
They're different leagues. Like in college football, this shit's cool. In the NFL, it doesn't happen. You don't see coordinators throw up the deuces and leave middle of the year, bro. That is not.
I think you have before.
No, you're just saying that with no evidence.
I think you have. I would like someone to do it. We need what is it on the Joe Rogan show? What is it? We need hey Jamie, look that up. How many coordinators have thrown the deuces middle of the season?
That would be like I don't even know. I mean, that would be good for content. I mean, if I'm being selfish, but that would be idiotic.
Let that man go get his dream job, man.
Not Kelvin going to LSU, but Kelvin, if you ever want an NFL job again, that would be stupid to do that. Like they would be like, this guy literally abandoned. I mean, Kelvin was a player. He knows that's why I don't think he'll ever do that. He's a player. He knows what it is, man. Like he'll never leave those guys high and dry and screw them like that. Like,
all right, well, we'll find out.
That would be so like to be like all these guys love Calvin. What a villain arc, bro! Like middle of the year.
Not a villain. The guy, it's his dream job. He played at LSU. Like it's one of the best jobs in all of football. Like if he had that opportunity to get it, you're gonna say no. Like, dude, you have to take it.
I'm worried about you now, bro. Wait, if you have commitments, you better fucking commit to them. Like that's how
I always do. But like at the end of the day.
At
the end of the day, if like my dream job and they offered me $12 million.
So you're not a team guy, you're a me guy.
I'm a team guy. I am a team guy. I'm okay. Time out. 30-second time out. You know I'm a team guy.
I know that. That's why
I've made decisions to be a team guy.
You're the biggest team guy ever, and you're saying
but listen, like I get it, but like if you're a team guy, you also want your teammates to be successful. For Shep in his career, LSU is a like top job in the industry. If he actually had an opportunity and they said, we will pay you 4 years, $60 million, you're going to be like, nope, sorry. I'm going to stay here in Detroit for a $1 million a year deal. Or I could go back to Louisiana where I played for 5 years. And I'm going to get paid $12+ million a year.
Hey, by the way, hey, we got Jamie. He says it's never happened.
I don't trust Google.
That's Jamie. I mean,
don't trust Google. I don't know.
I would be. Yeah, I don't know. I'm listen. If I tell you, if I'm in this thing for the year, I'm in it for the year. If he wants to go to college football after this year, go to college football. Go take some job and work your way and go get a head coaching gig. But if you're in the NFL, you're in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is, man. He's been with the NFL. He's been trying to be a DC for 7 years.
But again,
and then he goes after one half a season, bro. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy. Oh wait, you're muted. No, I didn't mute. No, I did not mute you. It's you.
Am I muted?
Yeah, no, yeah, you muted yourself. You're back now, though.
Someone muted me. That was a shot of the clouds there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I
want to hear your reasoning for this. I don't want to mute you.
For what?
I want to know why you think this.
Oh man.
I don't need, yeah. But
what a conversation.
Steve said God muted you. Yeah, that's
what a combo, man. It's an incredible situation to be in. Like you just never know, man. I mean, he could take it. It's such a listen, again, he may never, if he got offered that job this year in his life, if you're Shep and you're sitting back looking at this, what's going through your head is I may never get an opportunity to be a head coach at LSU again in my life. That's one of my dreams.
And if I take that job, I may never get an opportunity to be an NFL head coach. If I leave my job middle of the year.
He's not guaranteed a head coaching job in the NFL right now. But if he got offered an LSU job, he's already guaranteed because he got the offer. It's sitting on the table. But no, why wouldn't it? There's no NFL head or NFL team that's put the offer on the table for him. If I'm him, I'm looking at it going, I have an offer to go coach at Louisiana State University, my alma mater.
So your word means nothing.
Word of what?
Word of commitment for a year.
Did he come out and say, "Hey, Lions fans, I promise I will not go to LSU. I will be here for the whole season"?
No,
did he do that?
You know what they gave him? A contract, and he signed it.
Oh, just like the contract Ben Johnson had and Aaron Glenn had.
After the year, dude.
But their contracts were 1-year deals. They had multi-year deals. I'm sure.
Comparing the offseason to
I'm comparing. Your argument is they signed contracts. All coordinators have contracts in the league. You're not signing a deal for a 1-year deal. You're signing a 2 or 3, 4-year deal.
You got to complete the season.
No, you don't. There's nothing in your contract that says you have to complete a season.
Then why don't coordinators do this then? They don't do it. It doesn't happen.
I don't know. Why do college coaches take other college jobs when they're still under contract?
You're bringing up college. I'm talking about the NFL.
And the NFL too, like, you're already talking about the contracts. These guys sign contracts for years, man, and they leave halfway through a deal.
All right, you know what? Well,
this is such an interesting conversation. People in the chat just think I'm trying to be a heel here. I'm just trying to be. Listen.
I love doing this show because we learn a lot about each other, and
I'm giving out the human aspect of it. That's all I'm doing. Is Coach Shep has potentially an opportunity to be the head coach at his alma mater, one of the top coaching jobs in football at LSU.
All right.
Human side of things, it's like big deal for the guy. That's probably a lifelong achievement for the guy.
Well, let's bring in our special guest.
Let's go. Pumped up. Our guy.
Our good friend Tyler. He's joined us plenty of these Lions-Vikings matchups. He covers the Vikings. He does the Gators as well. NFL draft.
There's a great DC over there.
They got a great DC that wouldn't leave in the middle of the season if that opportunity presented itself. Mr. Tyler.
I bet you he would.
Forness. Tyler, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. I appreciate you having me. I will make one comment about the coordinators leaving the NFL. The last coordinator I remember to leave the NFL to take a head coaching job in college was Charlie Weiss with the Patriots. And if you remember that 2004 season, he did finish the year. But there's a difference now between now and then. They have early signing day.
Yes.
You got to have a coach in place by like December 1st so you can save those recruiting classes. And at a school like LSU, you can't miss a recruiting class. So if LSU is willing to pay the buyout of whatever that contract is for Shepard, they can do that. But I have a feeling that they may have to skim the bottom of the barrel for a head coach, considering what the governor of Louisiana said about Jimmy Sexton and other agents. So that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, we the whole new college football thing, it just makes
Welcome
things,
to a new era of football,
yeah,
Jeff.
it's a completely new era of football. Tyler, I got a lot of things I need to get to you and ask you about, because this matchup this weekend, we'll just start. And I would like to know, just from you, kind of your perspective. I know, at least from the Lions' perspective, we read about this quarterback stuff that's been going on, and it seems like the JJ McCarthy thing. He played really well in the second half against the Bears. Carson Wentz comes in after JJ gets injured against the Falcons, and then it's kind of like it was like a soft benching. Can you kind of give more context to JJ's first year starting, how it's went? What do fans of the media kind of think of JJ and the excitement for him to kind of get hopefully a full ride the rest of the year here?
Oh man, this year has really stunk for a multitude of reasons. This is not the team that we saw last year. And I firmly believe that this roster is built to be quarterback proof. And what I mean by that is you just need average quarterback play for this team to function. Just average quarterback play. They really haven't gotten that all year. And that's a big reason why they're 3-4. Carson Wentz couldn't see the broadside of a barn. And then he was playing basically on one arm. And kudos to him. He had a lot of guts in doing so. But the whole thing with JJ McCarthy, there was no stop benching. They wanted to make sure that he could go through a full week of practice and do that to set himself up for success in the game. And if he couldn't do that, they weren't going to start him. And they lived up to their word. They were not going to play him until he had a full week of practice. And the big reason is because Kevin O'Connell said it about a month after he got the injury. He did a spot on Rich Eisen's show, and he said the infamous line, organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. They want to do everything they can to be right by JJ McCarthy. They want to make sure that he has all the tools to succeed. If this was Patrick Mahomes, he probably would have played in 3 or 4 weeks. But it's Patrick Mahomes. Like Jordan Love came back in a few weeks last year from a high ankle sprain. He could barely move for 3 games, but he came back. You can do that with a veteran quarterback. You don't want to put that on a young guy. And especially when they're still trying to learn the NFL game. They're trying to learn how to read some of these disguised coverages. They're trying to learn the speed. And all that takes time and reps. So putting him back in a disadvantageous situation was not something the Vikings were willing to do. And you know what? They paid for it. They're 3-4. And it feels like this team is on the brink of collapse, but they could easily just come in and play extremely well against the Lions and completely shift all perception away. Because in Minnesota, it feels like the sky is falling among the fan base, but there's still a lot of good to this team. It's just hard to see through the cloud of yuck.
Yeah, I do want to ask you, Tyler, just kind of in general, offensively, defensively, everything with this Vikings team. I've actually watched a lot of this Vikings team because they were playing the 9 a.m. game. You guys were playing those early games. So I would wake up, get my bets in, and just sit there and watch some football while having a couple cups of coffee. What do you think is kind of just the bottom line for Lions fans going into the week? What's been the issue going on in Minnesota right now? Obviously, the quarterback, you talked about that and touched on that. Is there issues on defense right now, offensive line? Obviously not receivers with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but what's kind of the underlying thing going on here in Minnesota with the start of the season so far?
It's being able to succeed in spite of all of the injuries. Christian Darrisaw has been in and out because he's still trying to recover. I think they rushed him just a little bit. So he's had a couple very minor setbacks with his recovery from that torn ACL and MCL he suffered last year against the Rams on Thursday Night Football around this time. So it's been a year removed from that. Brian O'Neill missed the game with a sprained MCL, and then he missed another game last week. It's been up and down on the offensive line. They have had 12 different offensive line combinations play at least 10 snaps, 3 more than any other team in the National Football League. It's been a rotating door, and because of that, there's been a lack of confidence from the quarterback position, and then Carson Wentz not being able to just see things confidently in front of him has been a huge deal. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it's mainly been about converting pressures to sacks. They are converting more pressures this year, but they're down 12.36% in their sack conversions. So they have 18 sacks on 140 pressures this year. Last year, they had 49 sacks on 334 pressures. And being able to grab the quarterback is a completely different story than being able to actually sack him. And guys like Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert have wiggled out of some of those arm sacks that maybe somebody like Jared Goff wouldn't be able to do so because they have such strong lower halves. And you can obviously tell that they're doing a lot of squats in the weight room where Goff is more of a pocket passer. So some of those things have been a big factor. Injuries on the linebacker level, Blake Cashman not playing was a huge deterrent. We saw that in the first game the Vikings and Lions played last year, no Cashman, and that ended up being a big reason why Jahmyr Gibbs had those 2 long touchdown runs. And just some of those little things get missed along the way because of communication. Not having Cam Bynum has been a much bigger deal for this team than we would have thought, because Cam Bynum is a good safety, but I didn't view him as a $15 million a year guy. Not having him has been a huge factor in the lack of success. Same with Harrison Smith, just feeling like he's fallen off of a cliff. Now, he did deal with an illness during training camp, and there's a shroud of mystery around what that illness is. My theory is it's something along the lines of like long COVID, maybe, because it just feels like he has no juice. He is not running well at all. And he was playing just fine last year. So something happened to where he's lost all of that. It's just a lot of little things. And those little things, like the deep ball touch or the deep ball to seal the game against the Eagles, like they sent the house, but the house didn't get home. And multiple times against the Eagles, they sent 6, but they're sending defensive tackles and backup linebackers. They're not sending their best. So it's blocked. And all of a sudden it's a 70-yard touchdown to Devonta Smith. So little details here and there that have been getting missed have been just absolutely crushing this team. And it's been very frustrating to watch because all these things that they're doing wrong this year, they were doing right last year. And this team has more talent than last year's team did. So it's very, very difficult to parse out, hey, all of a sudden this team is just now bad. It's a frustrating watch.
Yeah, and I guess I'll ask, too, while you're on the offensive line discussion, Aiden Hutchinson, he's top 3, I think, in Defensive Player of the Year odds, and he's having a pretty big year this year. He just signed an extension. What kind of problems do you think a player like that poses? Obviously, AQM, the Lions fans have been asking for an edge, too, and he's been really productive. But what's kind of the narrative going into that Sunday game with a player like Hutch? Because it seemed like in the Buccaneers game, they were throwing running backs at him, tight ends at him, tackles at him, trying to chip him and kind of delay him a little bit. But what's the vibe around a guy like that coming to town to face his former teammate here in J.J. McCarthy?
If you have your tackles, I'm not going to say you're not worried about it, but you feel a lot better about that matchup.
Right.
One of the interesting things about Aiden Hutchinson is he's got a motor that doesn't quit. If you've got him in the first 3 seconds, you got to worry about getting him 4, 5, and 6, where other edge rushers, you're not going to have as much of an issue in those later areas. What's interesting about Hutchinson is he leads the NFL in pressures per PFF, but he's 106th in pressure rate when it comes to true pass sets. So when it's just a straight one-on-one matchup where you're not using some of the scheming that Kelvin Shepard does, which they do brilliantly to get him these advantageous situations so he can make as much of an impact as he can. That's what a defense should be doing. They should be maximizing your best players. But if you ask him to go one-on-one against Christian Darrisaw, I feel like Christian Darrisaw can win that matchup more often than not. But that's the thing. Is Darrisaw going to play? He did not practice on Thursday, which has been a common theme throughout the entirety of the season to try and just keep him rested and keep him healthy while he's still kind of trying to get all of his bearings back from that injury. But usually it's been did not practice due to rest, not injury related. And this time it just listed as a knee, but on Wednesday he did practice with a knee designation. So we're not 100% sure what that looks like. But if either one of these tackles is out, Hutchinson can just absolutely wreak havoc against the backup. If they both play, I think it's going to be a fun matchup to watch because I think both Vikings tackles can win a majority of those matchups, but so can Hutchinson because he's a very, very good football player. If you're a Lions fan, you want one of these tackles out because then it can just wreak havoc. And then that also prevents TJ Hawkinson from maximizing his impact as receiver because he's basically done nothing on the receiving end this year because he's chipping every single play. And when he chips, takes like a second and a half because he lays into him. He doesn't just like do a small push. He lays a full shoulder. And when you're running routes, well, all of a sudden, if you're starting a route at a second and a half in and Carson Wentz or JJ McCarthy doesn't have time to throw, you're not much good out there. So once we know the status of the tackles, I think we're going to really have a better semblance of how much of an impact Aiden Hutchinson can have. I think if they both play, it'll be an impact. But if one of them doesn't, I think he could be a game wrecker.
What do you think, Tyler? Me and Jeff, we actually had the conversation yesterday about your guys' running back situation right now. with Jordan Mason. And then obviously Aaron Jones just got back last week, coming off that injury. How do you see this kind of the running back situation working out in this matchup versus the Lions? Because what me and him were trying to figure out, and I had brought up, I think Aaron Jones is going to get more involved because he was coming off the injury last week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it kind of going that way where Aaron Jones is going to get back to where he was last year? Or do you kind of see Jordan Mason still having that RB1 spot and kind of taking that over?
I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. And I think you're going to see them used in a similar method to how the Lions use David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They believe in both backs. They're going to use both backs, and they're going to use them selectively in different situations. I don't think Jordan Mason has done enough to really run away with, as you kind of mentioned it, the RB1 job. He's done a little too much trying to go laterally and try to really break things to the outside, and he doesn't have the speed to do that. He is more of a one cut, and I'm going to run through every arm tackle kind of guy, and that's how he succeeded with the 49ers last year, where Jones has a little bit more of that juice. He's 31 years old, but he's still got the pop, and he can still bust a 50-yarder. I think they're going to want to have some balance with those guys. They're going to use Jordan Mason in a lot of those short yardage stuff, which they've been very bad at this year. That has not been fixed from when we spoke this time last year. So I'm very fascinated to see how the running game continues to develop, because it's been rough throughout the course of the year. But they spoke earlier on in training camp where they believe this is a 1A, 1B situation. And the two games that they both played, they've been treated like 1A, 1B. And I think that's going to continue moving forward.
I do want to ask, just now that we're kind of almost basically halfway through the season, the big narrative going into the season with the Lions was the coordinators. John Morton, the offensive coordinator, Calvin, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, as a DC who's had a lot of success. The offense has been up and then some downs, and a lot of the downs has to do with not getting players involved like Jamison Williams, or how do they utilize Dave Montgomery a little bit? It seems like they're more dependent on two players, Jahmyr and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But what's kind of your guys' side of how the coordinators have performed for the Lions, and just kind of the narrative around this Lions team with new coordinators after Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson both left?
It's really tough to know how good the coordinators are going to be. And I think after week one, there was a lot of concern, at least for me, like, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? Because week one was not a good showing. It wasn't a good showing for anybody, but I think they've done a really good job of settling in, kind of figuring out who they are. Like, John Morton is not Ben Johnson. Calvin Shepard is not Aaron Glenn, but they're running very similar styles of play to what those guys had before them. They're figuring out their own rhythms and how to maximize their own units. And I think that's been so huge in the success of what they're doing. And I think you're going to, when you have a young coordinator, and maybe not young coordinator is the right word, a new coordinator, they're going to lean on those stars, because that's going to be the easiest way to get them in a rhythm. I think you're going to start to see more from Jamison Williams as the season goes on, more from David Montgomery. But I think on an overall scale, I think you have to be pretty happy with where things are at 7 games into the year, because you just don't, you think with new coordinators, even if it's the same scheme, but you never do until they actually get the play call sheet in their hand and start making those calls. So 5-2, and your only losses are on the road to the Packers and Chiefs. I think Lions fans should be very happy with where things are at and how they're continuing to grow.
Yeah, Tyler, I do want to get your thought process here, just on the game in general. How do you think this game is going to play out? Score predictions, and what you're thinking for this game on Sunday.
This is a really interesting one because it's a divisional matchup, and because of that, anything can happen. We saw the Bears nearly beat the Lions on Thanksgiving Day last year, and the Bears at that point were a bad football team. Matt Eberflus was fired shortly thereafter. I think when it comes to this Vikings team, if they can answer a lot of those questions coming out of this mini bye, if they can just play up to their ability, I think this can be a one-score game. I don't think the Vikings are going to end up winning, but I think I can see a path to them actually winning this game because they have a lot of talent. And all JJ McCarthy needs to do is play average football, be an average quarterback, distribute the ball to your great weapons, be on time and in rhythm, use good mechanics with your footwork, and run the football. But the problem is the Vikings haven't done much of that all season long. Those are big question marks. And when it comes to the defensive side, Jared Goff is really good against the blitz, but he can also be taken advantage of against the blitz. His passer ratings last year between not being pressured and being pressured, it was a 47-point difference. That is a big difference. And you can get a couple of ones from Goff by doing that. But the problem is they've done such a poor job of blitzing this year that the Lions could easily block it. And then he's just going to pepper balls to Amon-Ra St. Brown 6 yards down the field, march and score a bunch of points like they've done every single game against this team with Brian Flores as defensive coordinator. I think it'll be Lions like 30-24. It'll be relatively close, but on the scoreboard, but I don't think it's going to feel that way. I think the Lions are going to be mostly in control, but the Vikings are going to get some. And I think they're very motivated to make an impact in this game. But this Lions team, for where the Vikings are at right now, it's too good.
That's fair. Tyler, we appreciate the hell out of it, man. You guys can follow Tyler at The Real Forno on Twitter, covers the Vikings, Gators, NFL draft. There's a lot of good stuff. We'll talk to you in the near future, my friend.
Wait, real quick. Can I ask one last question?
Yeah.
Who do you want as the head coach for Florida?
Lane Kiffin. I want Lane Kiffin, and I don't really want anyone else.
I was going to say, what if Lane doesn't come? Do you have a backup, or is it just all in on Lane?
John Summerall from Tulane. That would be the backup, but
Love that.
The fan base will riot if it's another G5 guy. But Lane Kiffin is a shit talker with a visor, and they want Steve Spurrier 2.0. That's what they want. And I think Lane Kiffin has a connection to Florida, that he took the mother of his children on his first date to the swamp. So it's a layered conversation, but I think Lane will only leave to go to Florida.
Wow. Love it.
Yeah, that's a great
I love it.
Good stuff, Tyler. We'll talk to you soon.
Much appreciated. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks,
There
Tyler.
you go. Tyler Forno joining the show. Forness joining the show to talk some ball with the fellas here. He does great stuff, man. He does great
Kills
stuff.
it,
And
sure.
the game this weekend will be a good one. We'll have Sam Flannel joining the show in about 10 minutes or so. So stick around for that. We have some more of the coordinator stuff. We can kind of chop it up about that if you want, Boone, or we can save some of the other stuff for tomorrow, or we can get into the questions you actually have for me on the prep. I would like to, honestly, we have 10 minutes. I would like to talk about John Moore, and I'd like to talk about JMO. That I feel like that stuff was pretty big today. JMO spoke on, and honestly, like a lot of people, and this was, listen, this was the comment I had 2 days ago, and I can't remember if it was when you were on, or I think me and you had the conversation about the JMO stuff, because Jim Costa had talked about how people, if they're bringing up that JMO needs to get more targets, that they don't watch football and they don't know ball. But it was, for me, I was like, that's wrong, because he does need to get more targets. Like it has nothing to do with spreading the ball around, and it's just not going to go his way. It was more so on like schematically, like they're not doing the best job of getting JMO open and putting him in positions. Like, are they targeting him and trying to get him open? Yeah, for sure. But you could definitely tell there was a way that the Lions need to find a way to get it, like, figure this thing out, like get JMO open. Find more schemes to open him up, and answers were questions were answered today when John Morton came out and said, and he admitted it, and where he was like, "Yeah, that's on me." And he even said, "I told JMO." He said he apologized to JMO that he hasn't been getting JMO involved, and he said it's all on me, and I need to start doing a better job, essentially. And we're going to hear him talk in a minute, but he basically took accountability for it, which. Not a lot. Again, that's why this Lions team's so great, Jeff, and this organization's so great, is a lot of these coaches and players take accountability when it's due, right? Where you see around the NFL and around college football, like no one usually does. Morton said he went up to JMO and was literally like, "This is on me." Like he was like, "I would be pissed off if I was in your position and I was doing what I was doing to you." Like he was like, "I would understand if you are mad." And then JMO said the same thing, where he essentially was just like, "Hey, I would love to get more targets," but JMO had a great response to it too, where he's like, "We're just winning, right? Like we're winning." But I think all my questions were answered on my end with that whole situation, where Costa kind of brought that up and everything kind of went down that way, where like you just need to find a way to get the man involved a little bit more. He's one of the most explosive players in the NFL. You don't want to leave him just on the field not getting targets, and you just have to find ways to draw it up within the offense. You have to get creative at the end of the day. You can't just be like, "Oh, he's getting double teamed. Let's just not give him the ball ever." Now, before we get to that clip, we have to hear from a quick message from our sponsor, Sleeper Fantasy and Sleeper Picks. We'll see you guys after the quick message. I've interrupted the video to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper, and specifically Sleeper Picks, because Sleeper Picks is very simple, and it's one of the funnest things you can do on Sleeper. Besides the fantasy, of course, you choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame across different sports. You pick more or less than the predicted stats. And as you guys can see, I did it for the Lions-Vikings game. I did more for the 0.5 touchdowns for Justin Jefferson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I did more for the listed passing yards for Jared Goff, and more for Jameson Williams and his receiving yards. Pick more or less than the predicted stats. And on Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. Use the code CT Sports. share with your friends, get rewarded together. Now let's get back to the video. John Morton talked, like you said, about the JMO situation. I love the accountability from John Morton. It's more just, hey, he knows what it is, man. I mean, he used to be a receivers coach. Like, if anything, he knows. I mean, he knows what these guys are. He knows the thought process of someone like JMO. Or like JMO has. When you're at that level, obviously there's levels like Amon-Ra St. Brown level, but even a Jameson Williams, who's an explosive player, you're going to have all the confidence in the world. You're going to want the ball. And people, will call receivers divas, and there's probably a line that you don't cross where you do end up being a diva. But JMO, although he won't say it publicly, he definitely thinks to his mind, like, I want to help this team. I want to impact this team winning games. That's what he wants. And John Morton talked about it today. So let's get the quote here. This is John Morton talking about the JMO situation.
It'll be a challenge this week, but our guys are going to be prepared and we'll be ready. Looking forward to it, getting back on the field after a little time off. Go ahead.
In the roster a little bit.
Yep.
I talked to Jared Goff yesterday, and he was talking about trying to get JMO a little more involved. Like, what did you see? Is there any areas you can see where you self-scout ways to possibly get him more involved this final stretch of the season?
Yeah. I'm not going to let you know that, but yeah. I looked at everything as far as that. I'm going to do a better job with that. But there has been opportunities where it just didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we ain't going to try to target him. So that was the biggest thing. So I looked at everything, and I failed him. That's what I told him, you know what I mean? I have to do a better job with that. But it's a two-way street, you know what I'm saying? So we were definitely looked at that.
How's he responded, though, as far
He's
as
great.
like?
Listen, man, this guy, he's awesome. He doesn't say anything. He just goes and plays. Like I said, I wouldn't fault you if you're pissed at me. You know what I mean? And because I've coached that position. I played that position, you know what I mean? And I know he works too hard. But, we got to make sure that we're going out and doing the right thing, the right techniques and this and that. It's not just him. It's everybody. You know what I mean?
John Morton. He's such a chill dude. I got to say.
I'm starting to like him.
Super chill guy, man. I mean, he's you could just get that vibe from him. He's like, listen, man, I coach receivers. He works too damn hard, which is a comment of JMO. But JMO was actually asked the same question, similar question, his involvement, and he did speak about it. So here's the clip of JMO speaking about it. We'll hear his response.
Spoke to Johnny Moe this morning. I was kind of just saying that he talked to you, during the bye week about potentially give you the ball more, and just show professionalism in that situation, man. Just talk about him, and he was just saying he even thought that he failed you in a sense. Just talk about him as speaking up on your behalf and trying to get you involved a little more as well in the back end of the season.
He came to me, expressed to me how he felt, and but with me, I really wasn't taking it too far into thinking about it. We was winning games and things like that, so I could never get myself too worked up with me getting the ball or me getting targeted, things like that. I know it's gonna come. It's a long season. We're a team that make it into the playoffs, so I knew things like that was gonna come. Me and him talked on the field yesterday before practice, and we just gotta understand how we're gonna move forward, and that's the best thing about it, I think.
What's it mean to have a coach? Literally just playing and getting targets, man. Where did you learn that from? Or have you leaned on anybody, or just putting the team first?
I learned that probably from Teddy. When Teddy came around, things wasn't going my way, and he just told me to stay focused and keep moving forward. The life we live is different from others, and others want to be in the spot we in. So we can never take it for granted or get too worked up on ourselves about mishaps or when things not going right. You just got to keep going until eventually it's gonna get right.
What's it mean to have a coach say that to you? I failed you. I want to get you the ball more. Just that level of accountability. What does that mean?
It means a lot, because he obviously sees it, and that's just the main thing, acknowledging it. We went so long without acknowledging it, so acknowledgement, it was the best thing about that, I think.
So can you clarify, after the Monday night game, you did post on social media sad faces and things like that? After the Monday night game, you did post in the morning about sad faces?
That had nothing to do with football.
Yeah. Can you clarify what that was about?
It's Instagram. I just posted something on Instagram. That's all,
You have the speed that you have.
I mean, yeah, there you go. There's your answer. By the way,
That was so
Justin
funny.
Doc for asking the tough questions too, man.
It was kind of funny too. I don't know if you watched the full thing. I don't know did you watch the interview, the full JMO interview?
No.
Someone came in like towards the end. I don't know if who it was, and asked literally all the first 3 questions that JMO just answered, and all the way up, like literally the same order. He was like, "Sorry if you already been asked this," and then he was like, "Bang, John Moran, bang, targets, bang, Instagram," and it was like, oh, he literally just answered all of it. Yeah, I was just like, it was like, and like that's a tough question. Like asking that, I thought JMO was gonna like be like, all right, like you know what I mean. But JMO's a good sport, man. He laughed about it. He always does. It's such an interesting thing. I feel like you never. I guess you hear a lot. I mean, with those issues, but I actually do like the fact that one. I think there's 2 sides of this. There's the John Morton side, obviously, and the JMO side. I think the John Morton side. I think it's incredible that this guy's like taking accountability to where you have media members and you have people, fans that are like, it's all right that JMO's not getting touches. Like, he doesn't need to be mad or complaining or nothing like that. It's like, no, it's not. He's one of the most explosive players in the NFL. And I like how John Morton in the off or in the bye week is finally like, okay, I watched the film. We need to get this guy involved somehow. Like, that's on me. And then he apologizes to JMO about it, right? Like, that's why you paid him. So you paid him, like you said yesterday, you paid him almost $30 million for it, right? Because you want to use him. And then on the other side of things, like JMO just being like his mindset with obviously he makes that post and he says it's not that. I'm pretty sure it is. But he's just, you know, his mindset doesn't change to where he's like a team guy. He's like, I want to win. Like, if we're like, and he said later in the interview, he said Teddy Bridgewater taught him that. Like, hey, like, there's going to be times where you have a tough 10-week stretch. He's like, you just got to keep being you. And he was like, you can't get mad or ask for targets and this. And JMO's actually never gone out and been like, I want more targets. I want this. He hasn't. At least that I remember. So I think there's the 2 sides to it.
Yeah, he's handled it really well. I mean, I'll say not that he's not thinking it. I mean, he's definitely thinking it, but he's just handling. I mean, he knows what this is, man. He's a professional. I mean, he's learned. He had to grow. I think JMO's first couple of years, he kind of grew into like that profession. He's a professional. Like, now he understands like things you post on social media or things you say will be used against you. You know, no, that sounded like the court of law shit, but I'm just being honest. Like, and the media is going to use stuff you say or post. They're going to ask you. Like, there's going to be Johnny Macaroon, the doc, go up to JMO and be like, "Hey, what'd you post? You know, like, what the hell was that?" So he's growing, and slowly the maturity is kind of getting there. So I like that with JMO. He's grown a lot since his rookie year. But let's bring on someone who's actually well versed in Jameson Williams discussions. He's actually
I could be wrong. I have a feeling this guy doesn't like what we're saying. I could be wrong. Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe I'll be surprised.
Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Former co-host and host, Waco Woodward, Morning Woodward Show, our good friend, now with the Crunch Time crew helping out. Flannel Sam. Flannel, how are we doing?
I'm good, guys. Apologize for last week again, but today we're up and running and everything's going great, and I'm happy to get on with you guys, and I have a couple weeks worth of stuff to say. So it should be by that logic my best appearance yet, but we shall see.
Flannel, you look good, by the way, man. You're looking good.
Oh, thank you. I'm adjusting the camera angle. I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit too low, and this I think is the sweet spot right here, if I do say so myself.
It's the production background on Flannel. He just understands it. Flannel, I guess I'll start with the JMO stuff. I mean, you see the production or lack thereof over the last I don't want to say 2 weeks, because I guess the Chiefs game he was productive, but it's been inconsistent. John Morton spoke about it. Feels like he failed JMO. JMO spoke about it. They addressed it. What's kind of been your thoughts on JMO this season? I know we had Corey on a couple weeks ago, and he went through his first 7 games this year and 7 games last year, and it was a difference in production. He's down a little bit in different categories, but what have you thought of this whole storyline with Jameson Williams this year?
I think it's a 2-part discussion. I think if you want to talk about the Lions as a whole and their offense as a whole, sure, you can say that Jameson Williams has had an impact. He's had a couple of games where he's actually been productive, and obviously him being out there on the field, it does help out the offense. And as long as the Lions are winning and their offense is humming, which the last couple of weeks has been a little down, but they're a 5-2 team and one of the best offenses in football. For the Lions, it's fine. I don't really care how you win or how your offense looks as long as you win. Because, I don't care if Jameson Williams has 400 yards receiving this year. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, everything's all good. However, there's a different discussion. And I feel like this is another situation where Dad's home. Dad's got to drop some truth about all of this.
Are you calling us your sons, Jeff and
No,
I?
I am not. I'm basically. I'm not
What are you
saying
talking about
that
Dad's
you guys
home
are my
then?
sons. It's just that of this situation, kind of telling some hard truths.
All right, let me know. If
That
Flannel.
felt like you just called us sons, Jeff.
Flannel, go hear this, Flannel. What do you got?
All right. Here's the thing about Jameson Williams. In the offseason, let's just call a spade. It was JMO mania. Coming off of, the year that he had last year, his first 1,000-yard season, obviously the big end-around touchdown in the playoffs, I think that was justified because he finally had kind of lived up to the hype with being the first-round draft pick, with being somebody who was so talked about and so beloved. And in the offseason, here are the things that I was told about Jameson Williams. I was told he was going to be first-team All-Pro. I was told he was top 10 receiver in the NFL. I was told he was a 6'1" Tyreek Hill. I was told that he was actually the Lions' #1 receiver, not Amon-Ra St. Brown. And all of you, if you think I'm lying, those were things that were said by many people. I was told by some of the worst of the slapdicks that I'd rather have him than guys like A.J. Brown or C.D. Lamb. I was also told he's the best #2 wide receiver in the NFL. Jordan Addison, Jameson Williams is 1,000,000 times better. Devontae Smith, nah, J-Mo better. Jalen Waddle, really? Are you kidding me? Jameson Williams is so much better. T. Higgins, more like P. Higgins. Jameson Williams is so much better. Devontae Adams, you mean old-ass geriatric Devontae Adams? I'd rather have J-Mo now. That's what I was told all off season. If you'd have told me before the season, Jackson Smith-Njigba or Jameson Williams, 100 out of 100 Lions fans would have said J-Mo. Same with George Pickens, same with Cortland Sutton. And all of that has resulted in Jameson Williams this season being tied for 64th in the NFL in receiving yards. And who he's tied with is Dallas Goedert and Juju Smith-Schuster, who Spencer Raxter calls Juju shit poopster. I think that's very unfair. He has actually had a solid career, but still, that's the thing. And my issue is if some of the fans and media members would just acknowledge that J-Mo has not lived up individually with his production, I wouldn't have this kind of fervor.
Go ahead. I just want to say this, I think, and this is just being honest with you, Flannel. We're friends, right? I can be honest.
Yes.
I think the issue with this year is I think two things can be true. One, J-Mo can be all of those things that people have said because me and Jeff went to 6 or 7 training camp practices and none of what people were saying was a lie. Nothing that people were saying is a lie. Also, another thing that would be true is J-Mo can be one of the most explosive players in the NFL. I think I agree with you. He hasn't lived up, or the season he's had has not been what we thought J-Mo was going to do. Where I think you need to kind of turn your head a little bit and you need to switch sides a little bit is not going at Jameson Williams. I think you might have a side of you where you have a vendetta over the last 2 or 3 years with fans and media in regards to J-Mo. But the fact that the offensive coordinator today came out and said, this has been on me. I watched the film. Jameson Williams, out of the 7 or 8 weeks, has had 4 or less targets. He has less than 30 targets this year, or 30 on the dot maybe, where Amon-Ra has 60 plus. Sam Laporta has more than him. Jameer has the same amount of him. That's not on J-Mo. That's on play calling. That's on finding opportunities to put the ball in his hands, because they do that for Amon-Ra and Sam. And that is literally, and Flannel, that is literally John Morton today coming out and saying, I went and apologized to J-Mo personally. This has been on me. This isn't on J-Mo. And the fact, and this is where I love you so much, but there is a point to where it's like, why are you constantly just blaming J-Mo in every scenario? Why can't it be, hey, he only had 1 target? That's not J-Mo's fault. He has 1 target. He's out there blocking his ass off, and he's out there running great routes. He's just not getting the opportunities. That has nothing to do with him. And yes, he had 1 game where they forced him the ball a lot. He dropped passes. I will agree with you on that. I do think there is a world, though, to where it's like, hey, take a step back here. take your bias off of your vendettas and your battles with JMO and the fan base over the last 2 years and be like, hey, this one time, this is probably just on John Morin. Oh, how do I back that up? Maybe it's because your offensive coordinator literally the last 6 hours came out and said, this one is on me. This is on me. And it's Flannel. Sometimes it's okay not to get riled up about it and be like, okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one because it probably was on John Morin. It probably was. He hasn't been getting the opportunities.
Here's the problem. I'm not at all saying that this is all on JMO. My problem is
you're insinuating that
no.
He hasn't lived up to expectations, which insinuates it's on JMO.
But my problem is with you people, and now I include you, Booner, with you people.
What, did I tell the truth? Did I tell the truth?
That are still fucking victory lapping. No matter what.
Who's victory lapping?
You guys are. Oh, he opens up the field. He blocks.
Flannel.
Fucking Jim Costa was like, if you question anything, you don't know ball.
Did you watch the beginning of the show when I literally said Jim Costa was dead wrong about telling fans that they don't know ball because you need to get JMO involved more. They need to find ways, but it's not JMO's fault that he's not getting involved. Now, if he was getting 60 targets a game and he was getting half of the yards that he's supposed to be and he wasn't scoring and he was dropping every pass on his way, then you can go at JMO fans talking about JMO. You should have came in here today yelling at John Morton, why aren't you giving – if JMO has been this whole hyped up thing and all the coaching staff did all these press conferences being like, JMO's so great, JMO's this, JMO's that, why aren't you going at the coaches being like, if you said all that, why not get him the ball? Why did you guys lie to the people, and why are you not giving him the ball if he's as good as you guys all say he is? You're going at the wrong people. Go at the coaches. And don't blame JMO for this. What are you talking about? Be real. You're smart, Flannel. You're smarter than that. Be smart.
No, you're smarter than that because here's my issue with it all. It's the fact that he is the only player in the history of the NFL who doesn't need to actually produce. And you still say those things.
That feels like a made-up stat. Only
things.
Player in the NFL is crazy.
Who doesn't have to produce, and he's still talked about. There are still people who will still
he's
say he's a top 10 receiver.
He's talented.
Okay, but he is on pace for 702 receiving yards.
And that's on the coach. That's on John Morton, who literally came out 6 hours ago and said, it's on me.
Okay, fine.
You're going at the wrong people at the wrong times. But I want to agree with you because we have the same point that JMO has not lived up this year. And I went at Jim Costa about it. We're like lockstep on this. You're just going at the wrong people.
But here's the thing. It's the fans because there are still people who will say those exact same things. Here's the reality of the situation. Whether you guys like it or not, he has fewer receiving yards this season than Kyle Pitts, Aronde Gatson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Quentin Johnston, Hollywood Brown, Rome Odunze, Tucker Kraft. Every single one of those players, Lions fans would say trash. But yet it's perfectly okay for Jameson Williams to have 289 receiving yards through 7 games, and you are still sniffing his jock and on his nuts and sucking his fucking dick. Man can do no wrong. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the simps. I'm sick of the people who have no expectations for this guy. It's a joke. He has fewer receiving yards in his career than Rashid Shaheed and Wan'Dale Robinson. And people will still act like he's been a super duper uber boomer star. All I'm saying is that
can we clip that?
All I'm saying is that Jameson Williams as an individual has to produce. He produced last year, I'll give you that, but over his career, over this season, he has not lived up as him, the individual. And the people are still victory lapping, treating him like he's going to Canton tomorrow. That's the shit that I'm talking about. It gets on my goddamn nerves. There's no accountability for this guy. And now Johnny Morton apologized. So now Jameson Williams never has to take accountability for anything in his fucking life. The suspensions, the knucklehead energy, the immaturity that plagued the beginning of his career. Nothing is his fault. Nothing. You know what this all proves, guys? That guys like Jameson Williams, guys like Sam Laporta, guys like David Montgomery are closer to being cogs in a great machine than being superstars whereas Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown are actual legitimate superstars. Oh, there's too many mouths to feed. That doesn't affect the real superstars, the real future Hall of Famers, the real first-team All-Pros, like Amon-Ra and Jahmyr Gibbs, top 3 to 5 at their positions. That's not J-Mo, but yet people are still victory lapping.
Yeah, Flannel, this is where I think, like, by the way, the super duper uber boober star is one of the greatest I think lines I've ever heard in my life. This is where I like. It's just weird because we like agree, but also I think again, I just think you're blaming the wrong people in the moment of as of October 30th in week 8 or week 9, whatever it is. Because I agree with you. Like, J-Mo's not a superstar. Like, I've never said once he is. I've never said there's a reason he didn't get paid $30+ million. Like, he's a wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver too, or he can be if you involve him in your offense. And he's one of the more electric and explosive players in the NFL. Whether or not he has the stats to prove it or not, I think it's just a fact with his speed and his making abilities that he is. I just think, like, I'm with you, Flannel. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's had the greatest year ever. I don't know where you're seeing that. If there are people who are saying that, then yeah, I'm with you on that. You should not be saying that about J-Mo. I just think in this scenario today, the issue with J-Mo and the reason he hasn't put the stats up is, yes, there is a percentage I'm sure you can put on J-Mo because there has been drops that he's had, Flannel. 100% we can agree on that, and down games. I just do think, like, the fact you're getting this worked up saying that, like, J-Mo's the worst of all time on a day where his OC was like, hey, coming off the bye, this is all on me. Like, John Morton put his hand up and said, I need to be better. And he was like, I went up to J-Mo and apologized. So, like, I'm with you. Like, I think both things can be true to a point to where people need to stop putting him as a wide receiver 1 type talent until he proves it. But at the end of the day, it's like, he just hasn't had in 5 of the 8 games or 5 of the 7 games, he just hasn't had the opportunities as he's had with Ben Johnson. Like, Ben Johnson, you could tell he was really involving him. This year, it hasn't been there. And if you watch these games, Flannel, and you notice that and this isn't me being like a Jim Costa, because Jim Costa is like, you don't know ball if you want J-Mo to get the ball more. Like, no, you do want J-Mo to get the ball more because he's explosive. And I think people should be mad that John Morton has essentially just taken J-Mo out of some games. Like, I think that's ridiculous. It really is, because he is explosive, whether you hate him or not, Flannel. I think that's fair to say.
No, I don't hate him. The simps, they can all go to an island and drink Jim Jones Kool-Aid for all I care. Hey, keep celebrating J-Mo's hypothetical 1,500-yard season that he's going to have.
Yeah,
I mean, there were actually people, and this is where, I mean, Jeff and I, we were all like in shock that people were saying, there were people that were saying he was going to get 1,500 yards. And people were saying that he was going to be first-team All-Pro. And it's like, that's the most ridiculous thing of all time.
Are still victory lapping over what he's doing right now.
I haven't seen that, so I can't argue with that.
It's all over.
I want you to send it to me. I want you to send that to me.
He opens up the field.
Flannel. I will say this, and this is where I will agree with you, because me and Booner are pretty much on the same side with this. But where I'll agree with you, I'll definitely on one of your points is the people that will pump up the blocking, which is great, by the way, or what he does for other players when he's not getting the ball, which is great, by the way. But, like, that's not why you're paying the fucking guy $28 million. So, like, I get where you're coming from with that too. It's like, if that's your big argument to why J-Mo's so great, it's like, well, you don't really need to get him involved because he makes so many. No, he needs to catch the football and make plays. And he knows that, and John Morton knows that. Like, that's where the money comes from, man. You making plays, catching touchdowns, putting up 1,000 yards. So I'm for the people out there that are defending the lack of production by bringing that up, incorrect. So I'm with you on that. But yeah, I'm with Booner though. It's more on John Morton kind of talked about it. They're going to get him more involved, and I think it's more on the scheme and just his involvement as a whole. But to the fan base or the section of fan base, I think the way you're talking about, Flannel.
Well, that's the thing. Like, why is Calvin Johnson great? Why is Amon-Ra great? Why is Herman Moore great? Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, Justin Jefferson. I can go on and on and on and on. It's because catches, yards, touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, which apparently Jamison Williams is, but just taller. Joke. But anywho, like, why are they great? Catches, yards, touchdowns. Not, opening up the field and blocking, that all alone makes everything better, right? I'm sorry. Like, I really don't want to get this worked up. I'm really not that mad about the Lions or the offense. It's just the Jameson Williams Sims are still victory lapping, are still acting like nothing's wrong, and anybody who questions doesn't know ball. It's just, it makes me, hey, maybe I'll join in on the like Jim Jones Kool-Aid, because man, I don't want to share a world with these people. But anywho,
Flannel crashed you out essentially about J-Mo, and then after being like, I don't want to get too worked up.
well, I too late. I know, too late.
Yeah, go ahead, Boone. After we'll close this JMO discussion.
No, I mean, let's just keep talking ball. I don't know. I mean, that was just, I don't even know how we follow that. That was just the greatest thing.
We can make him happy.
Let's get into the next. Yeah, I would love to actually talk to you about Aiden. I honestly, Flannel, I'll just give you my side of things and we can hear yours. I love the Aiden extension. I think they got it done. I thought it was going to, my kind of thought process early in this season is I thought that Hutch was just going to say, let me play out the deal and win Defensive Player of the Year and then charge you guys 50 plus a year. Instead, Hutch obviously gave him some sort of discount, and the Lions got this thing done at 45 instead of after, over 50. How'd you like the deal? What do you think kind of the expectations are with Hutch now?
I mean, it was a great deal, quite frankly. 4 years, 180, 141 million guaranteed. He's only locked up until his age 30 season, so he's pretty much going to be here through his whole prime. And then, as this all plays out, he'll probably get another one, even more lucrative. But my thing with Aiden Hutchinson, and what I love the most, is that he earned it. It's not just off of potential. And don't get me wrong, Aiden Hutchinson's potential is through the roof. I still don't think we've seen the best of him. But what he's done throughout his career, let's just go down the list. First season, 9.5 sacks, led all rookies, had more sacks than Trayvon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau combined that year. I love that stat. The only reason he didn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year is because he happened to share a class with Sauce Gardner, who was literally CB1 of the league as a rookie that year. 2023, 11.5 sacks, 33 quarterback hits, 14 TFLs, 3 sacks in the playoffs, Pro Bowl. Obviously had a great second year. Third year, leads the entire planet in pretty much every pass rushing stat in the world. Unfortunately gets hurt. He was on pace to break the sack record. I'm not saying that he would have done it, but in those 5 games, he was just insane. And then this year, with a few lingering concerns about how he's going to come back from this injury, I think right now he's pretty much himself. He struggled a little bit like everybody did at Green Bay, but this season he's on pace for 15 sacks, over 30 quarterback hits, leads the NFL in pressures and forced fumbles, is right in the mix, probably top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting right if the season ended today. Aiden deserved his deal, and I still think the best is yet to come, and he is going to live up to the money.
Yeah, I think the Aiden thing, I guess I'll ask you too, just for the foreseeable future. They still have 4 players, the big 4 that they need to extend. Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jack Campbell. Where are you at with it all, Flannel? They're all projected probably around similar salaries. I don't know if they'll be able to give all of them long-term extensions without shedding some salary elsewhere. But how do you see this thing playing out in your eyes? And who might be the player left out if you had to kind of choose one here, Flannel?
To me, I think the player that is most likely to be left out is Laporta. And I'm not saying that I don't want him here. It's just that I think Brian Branch, despite some of his knucklehead behavior, is the second best player on this defense and does have that opportunity to be that transcendent safety. And we've seen it. We saw it last year. His rookie year was great as well. Jack Campbell, man, the leap that he's had, he looks like almost like Luke Kuechly out there. Not like he is Luke Kuechly, but he's having like an 9 out of 10 of like a Luke Kuechly season this year. So that means that he's proven to be more valuable, especially if Alex Anzalone, getting a little long in the tooth. And then Jahmyr Gibbs, I know that there's some reticence amongst some about paying running backs, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs is one of the few like truly special running backs in the NFL. If you look at the ones moving forward, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs, I've got Bijan Robinson. And then of course, the guys like Saquon who are going to the Hall of Fame and was the best player in football last year and still pretty good. Derrick Henry, who's still pretty good. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, transcends the whole you don't pay running backs thing, barring an injury, of course. So to me, the one who's most likely to get left out is Laporta, who you could argue up to this point peaked as a rookie. Not saying there's anything wrong with him as a player, but I just think moving forward, those three and not Laporta are the most important to the long-term success of this team.
Do you think there's even a chance, Flannel, that that they'll be able to keep all four? Like, do you think there's like a small percentage of a chance that they like Brad figures this out? I've been trying to do the math to figure it out. You're a numbers guy. Do you actually double question here? Because I've been looking for like a salary cap guy. Are you good with like salary cap numbers?
I mean, here's what I will say. The way that I'm going to give an example of a couple of deals that were done recently. The Aiden Hutchinson deal, the Kirby Joseph deal. The Kirby Joseph deal, I don't remember the details exactly, but when you actually looked what it was, you're like, oh my goodness, how did they do this? Why doesn't every team just do this? Because it almost seems like they're cheating the salary cap because the number looks pretty big. Like, ooh, I don't know if I'd give that to Kirby, but when you look at the year by year, it's like, oh my goodness, damn, this is a steal. And with Aiden, it's very backloaded. And by the time you get to those years, you might be working on a new deal. I know like there's a lot of ways to maneuver the salary cap. So I guess what I'm saying is that never say never with re-signing all four. You probably would not be able to make big splashes in free agency or whatnot moving forward. But I'm not, before the Kirby and Aiden deals, I probably would have said no. A couple people are going to have to go, but I'm not going to count out Brad Holmes when it comes to getting all four of those done. I think 3 of 4 is more likely, and Laporta is the one that gets left out. But if all 4 come back and are signed long term, man, this window is long, very long.
Yeah, how are you feeling about Saturday or Sunday, the Vikings game, Flannel? I know you actually hit us up and said I want to talk about this Vikings game specifically. How are we feeling about this?
And by the way, no, go on. Finish your question, but I was going to follow up. Go on. What were you
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, because
you really got excited there. Come on. Don't be scared now.
Not that I got a bone to pick, but
yeah.
I do.
Oh, here we go. Pick the bone.
On JJ McCarthy. I would like to know more on your thoughts on JJ, because I will say this, Flannel. I love that JJ McCarthy's back. I'll take him. I love it because JJ McCarthy has shown me, not that I'm writing him off, but he's just not ready yet. I mean, he needs some development, and this is a perfect storm. But I want to ask you, the Michigan man, what do you thought of JJ in his first year starting? He got injured, but what do you think of the man so far?
I mean, it looked pretty good after week 1, but then with the amazing fourth quarter he had, they were able to get a victory over Chicago in Chicago. But ever since then, he was terrible in that next game. He had an injury, and you're a Vikings insider, actually said that it wasn't a soft benching, that they were actually just waiting for him to get 100% healed. But with all of that, whatever it is, no matter how or why he was out, whether it's injury, benching, a little bit of a combination, I agree with you, Jeff. I think that it's a really tough situation for JJ to come into. His first start in over a month, like a month and a half, against this team, against this defense in Detroit, which is going to be an absolute snake pit. We talked about Jim Costa earlier. Let me kind of paraphrase what Jim Costa said before. I think this week is a double-digit disco. And I think it's actually the appropriate time to use it, not last year against Buffalo. I think that the Lions win this one very, very comfortably. And JJ McCarthy has some rough moments, maybe a turnover or two, get sacked a few times. He might make a play or two because he's got, Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, all of that.
Whoa, no. It's interesting you say that, because this is the thing I was told. You want to play the I was told game? I'll play it with you. Don't mind me, Flannel. I'll play it with you. I was told that JJ McCarthy, even though last year I mentioned he was hurt, and it's hard when you're not physically doing reps, but I was told the mental reps are important. He got all the mental reps all last year to be ready. And you have Kevin O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer. And Kevin O'Connell will never have a losing record with any quarterback. And on top of that, I also have, I was told, which I actually don't disagree with too much, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Flannel, and he's still ass. I mean, can we acknowledge that? I thought with all these things coming into fruition for JJ, I was told it was nearly impossible to fail. What's going on with JJ? It's not his rookie year. I mean, technically it is, but I was told the last year was a mental rep year for him. Well, studied the playbook, Flannel. That's what I was told he did all last year.
I think the JJ is ass discourse is getting a little bit overblown. You never know what it would have looked like if he would have been able to play all of these games, but he didn't. This season has been a failure for him so far and a failure for the Vikings, in part because JJ McCarthy hasn't been available. And injuries, along with poor play besides one quarter when he has been on the field, have been a part of his story. So, yeah, I personally think if the Vikings, they are getting a little bit more healthy. They've had a lot of guys who were hurt this year. If JJ continues to get more reps, maybe plays some games against some easier opponents than the Lions, I think he'll show some flashes. I think having Jefferson, Addison, O'Connell, if Darashon O'Neal are out there, a couple good tackles, are going to help him, and he's going to look better than he has previously moving forward. But so far, the McCarthy tenure has looked like a failure. So far, it's been a failure, and it looks like the Vikings gravely miscalculated their quarterback situation, at least when it comes to success this year. They had Sam Darnold as their starter, who led them to 14 wins. They acquired Daniel Jones later on. He didn't play, but he was in the room. And then they let go of those two. Darnold and Jones, I can't believe I'm saying this, are both legitimate MVP candidates and are leading their respective teams, the Seahawks and the Colts, to winning records. And the Vikings are the ones floundering. And Carson Wentz is Carson Wentz. Ever since his year where he was an MVP candidate and then got hurt and Foles won the Super Bowl, he's been pretty much a journeyman. So the Vikings quarterback situation and their team as a whole, it's been a massive, massive failure this year. So if you want to victory lap that, Jeff, good. I'm happy. The Vikings were the biggest threat to the Lions last year. They were the biggest threat to the Lions last year, and it looks like the Lions have a chance to kill their season because they ain't doing shit if they start 3-5. No way. They're dead if the Lions win, and they will win by double digits. To, like I said, not trying to plagiarize Jim Costa, so I'm giving him credit. It's a legitimate double-digit disco this weekend. I truly believe that.
Yeah. Let them know, Flannel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny to me, Flannel. I mean, I guess it's fair. And listen, it's hard to write a guy off in like with 3 career starts, but I know what I'm seeing. I mean, it's not great. I'll just say that. And I guess I'm victory lapping not on JJ being ass, but being not as good as people thought he would be, especially off the rip. Like, I think that he needs a lot more work because, and I'll say this, like the Falcons game he got injured in, that's the same defense that Tua just had 6 incompletions against and 4 touchdowns. And Tua has had barely a pulse this year. So I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, but
yeah, but also, Jeff, the same defense that Jared Goff struggled again also let Dak Prescott go ham against them in that tie. Like, I don't like that whole whatever property that is. You can have that discussion for a lot of different things. But to be fair, JJ against the Falcons, that was a horrific performance.
That's my point.
No, it was awful. He looked like he should have still been at Michigan. Like, he just wasn't ready for that moment, even though he looked like he proved something in the Bears game. What was awful in that game just didn't even look like he belonged in the NFL.
Hey, Flannel, by the time we would talk to you next, the trade deadline would already be done and over with. What do you, as just kind of someone who covers the Lions, what's a good expectation for you, and what are some position groups? I mean, me and Booner talk about it, and we're pretty much on the same page. Offensive tackle, even though, they're rarely moved, but still, like, a backup offensive tackle, something the Lions should probably think about in case Decker goes down. Edge, of course, is always going to be a discussion. I love pass rushers. You know me, Flannel. And then corner. But where are you at with just kind of this deadline, and what do you expect from Brad Holmes? What do you want to happen here?
Well, I think there's a few very doable moves with all guys who are on expiring contracts. So what you'd have to give up for them is not as much as if there were years under team control. And I know that a lot of these names have been talked about, so I'm not naming anything new. I like Jalen Phillips. of the Dolphins, the edge rusher who was very productive in his first couple years, really looked like he was breaking out in his third, and unfortunately had an Achilles injury. And then the next year he had a knee. But hey, Brad Holmes and injured players, so that should make Brad Holmes want him more. But that's just one you wouldn't have to give up too much for. And obviously AQM has been really good, but Davenport, who knows when he's going to come back. You could never have too many edge rushers. I look at a guy like Reek Woolen. I know we've all talked about him, a guy who kind of peaked as a rookie. I think we would all agree with that, and has really fallen out of favor in Seattle because Seattle is actually a playoff team and they still want to get rid of him. But even Reek Woolen, for his career, 81 passer rating allowed when targeted, 11 interceptions, never had a season in which he's had a passer rating allowed when targeted over 100, including this year, his worst year. I think adding him to this rotation, especially with DJ Reed being out for a while longer and Terrion Arnold kind of coming back, but I'm still not completely sold on him. I think Reek Woolen is a good option, and probably the most surprising one, because I also wanted to bring a tackle option to the table. Braxton Jones of the Bears. I think that's a very, very interesting one, because Braxton Jones, even though we talk about the Bears offensive line over the past few years, pretty much the entirety of Justin Fields's and Caleb Williams' tenure there as not being great, Braxton Jones has actually played pretty well his first 3 years. But this year, he's fallen out of favor. He's gotten benched for Theo Benedict. He hasn't played super well. But the Lions, they may have a need for a tackle. Taylor Decker, we don't know. I don't think the expectation should be for him to play 17 games or even the rest of the games of the year. He's long in the tooth. He's been banged up a lot throughout his career. The Giovanni Manu, he didn't really look that great when he got a chance to play, and he's on IR, or I don't know if he's still on IR, but he was on IR, but he's not it for this year. And then Dan Skipper. So I guess to make a long story short, if the Lions are able to get Jalen Phillips, Reek Woolen, Braxton Jones, one of the three, any combination of the three, two of the three, I think those are potentially moves that could really, really help the Lions get over the top in winning the Super Bowl, and would cost the Lions nothing but like a later round draft pick. And when I mean later round draft pick, I mean like 5, 6, 7. These are not cream of the crop players. These are all players with some issues, and they're on expiring contracts. But man, get them in Allen Park. That's all I'll say. Those guys have all played damn good football in their careers. It's just not working out for them right now for whatever reason in their current stops. So yes, I think the Lions will be active. I think they'll make an impactful move or two. I hope it's one of these three guys. I know it's going to be somebody who is going to make Lions fans excited to some degree.
Flannel?
Yes.
We got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Michigan football.
Yeah.
Just beat Michigan State. How are we feeling? What's the confidence level? Obviously, a few more weeks here until this Ohio State matchup. I feel like the whole season now, it's just go win and take care of business and get to this Ohio State game. How are you feeling? What's the confidence level here over the next month?
Well, I'll tell you what. I will never apologize or be in any way unhappy about Michigan going to East Lansing and beating Michigan State by double digits. As you know, in Booner, I know you agree with me. I hate their fans. I hate Michigan State fans more than JMO fans. Like, they're the absolute worst to deal with. They're even bad when Michigan beats them. But when Michigan State beats us or beats Michigan, I'm not going to say us, but beats Michigan, they're still talking about Kenneth Walker. I still think they fap to Kenneth Walker highlights before they go to sleep every night. But if we're talking about the future of this team this year, I mean, 6-2 at this spot, I think this is about where you would expect them to be. I think these next 3 games are obviously, you got to win. They will win. Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland on the road. Then they're 9-2 and with a chance to really play their way into everything. And to be honest, I do think in my heart that this is the year where Michigan does go down to Ohio State. But at the end of the day, there are still some bugaboos with Ohio State, with Ryan Day, when it comes to this University of Michigan team. So you never know what can happen. I know there's some people who are a little upset with.
Wait, Flannel, did you just say bugaboo?
Is that a real word?
I don't know. I think it's one of those flannellisms. But
continue.
They have a chance to really play for all of their goals. And I do think some Michigan fans have been a little bit too negative. Like, I understand that Bryce Underwood didn't look super great in this Michigan State game, but the running game was dominant. They've got the defense has been better. Derek Moore has really showed up as that dominant pass rusher. I think right now Michigan is in a good spot. I think they're going to go into Ohio State or go into the game against Ohio State at home 9-2 with a chance to play for everything. And as we know in this rivalry, even games like last year where Ohio State was pretty much guaranteed to win, anything can happen. Ryan Day's got those demons, man, those Michigan demons. And if Michigan can win that game and are 10-2 and with a chance to maybe play in the Big Ten championship game, and probably regardless of if they do or if they win or if they lose, go to the playoff, that's a successful season, given that it's Bryce Underwood's freshman year. Now, moving forward, I expect Michigan to do more competing for a national championships, but I think Michigan is in a pretty good spot, even though, as we all know, it hasn't always looked pretty, and that's fair.
I'm not going to lie. It sounds like a bad word to say, so I'm just going to stay away from saying it.
That's all right.
What a word, though.
The bugaboo. I wrote that down. Yeah, we got bugaboo. We got super duper uber boober star in the show today. So
it's unreal, dude.
Yeah.
Flannel, do you have any thoughts on some of this coaching carousel stuff? Because we actually talked about it with Shep and the LSU thing, and then obviously Florida's open, LSU's open, Penn State's open. Obviously we have this. Me and you are in a group chat, and we talk about with a bunch of the Michigan guys. What's going to happen with Sharon Moore? Like, do we want to keep him around? You have the Michigan State stuff happening. There's about 10 openings in college football right now. What are your just thoughts on the coaching cycle this season? Because it's going to be probably the biggest one we've ever seen in college football.
It's absolutely insane. As you said, I mean, LSU, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas. You haven't even included Oklahoma State, who have been relevant recently. Virginia Tech, who had a dominant stretch not that long ago. UCLA. And after this year, I could see Florida State firing Mike Norvell. I don't know what Clemson's going to do with a Dabo, given the fact that they've had such a morbid season. Michigan State looks like they're going to, well, I know the fans want them to fire Jonathan Smith, and at this point they should. And Wisconsin. Oh, go ahead.
I saw too, just Florida State, by the way, just fun fact. I think I saw something that Florida State they came out and said they're not firing Mike Norvell because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I think they can't pay his buyout. Like, it's too much and they can't afford it.
Well, that's too bad because Florida State is staring down the barrel of a second consecutive. They were 2-10 last year, and this year they're 3-4. Like, that's Florida State. They're not supposed to go through stretches like that. They're not one of those, teams that pop up every once in a while, like Wisconsin or Arkansas or whatnot. This is Florida State, a team that's won national championships, multiple in my lifetime, that has been to, has been to the mountaintop, has Bobby Bowden as their legendary head coach, all kinds of NFL legends. I mean, if they don't want to pay the buyout, fine, but 2 consecutive losing seasons at Florida State cannot happen, especially one of them being 2-10 with all those expectations. I think that's a fireable offense personally, but as we all know, with buyouts being crazy, maybe they won't fire him, but they should, unless something drastic happens, like them maybe winning out or something, which I don't think they'll do.
Yeah, I think the big thing surrounding Michigan State, too, we have the doc on every single Wednesday, is what the hell they do with Jonathan Smith. I know they're already sick of him, and I know you deal with State fans. Obviously, you're a Michigan fan. I'm assuming, and can we, because me and Booner talked about this, and I think Booner is just finding out that Michigan State does have NIL money. I
did not know they did. I thought they were out of money. I thought all of their donors or whatever they are, I thought they all said, we're not paying you guys anymore. You suck. I thought Magic and all of them were like, we're out.
One thing to have it, another thing for people to want to take it. What do you think? How do you think Michigan State? What's going on with this team with Jonathan Smith? You think he's out of there? He's canned?
Yeah, and he should. I mean, here's the thing. Jonathan Smith was somebody who I think it was considered a good hire at the time. And I think a lot of Michigan State fans were happy enough. I don't think he was everybody's first choice, but they saw what he did at Oregon State. He really built that program from nothing to being, you know, a team that can get 8, 9, 10 wins, win a bowl game, which is pretty much Oregon State's peak. And he was bringing over, you know, Aiden Childs, Jack Velling, a couple other players from Oregon State that are now starters on a Michigan State. And it's just been an absolute disaster. I don't think Michigan State fans or even Michigan fans, quite frankly, really give Michigan State enough shit for being absolute shit, piss, dog dick poverty right now. They might have their 4th consecutive season with no bowl game. Think about that.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, no,
and Jonathan Smith was supposed to fix that, and there's just no life or juice in that program right now. He's got to go. But with all the other coaching vacancies, are they going to get somebody that they really want? That's the question, because the better candidates will go to schools like LSU or Florida or Penn State, or even Arkansas and the SEC. I guess they're kind of on par with like Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech. But if FSU comes open, Clemson, Michigan State's it's gonna be a really, really tough thing for them to navigate if they fire Jonathan Smith. Who else they will get, because they might have to settle for their 3rd or 4th choice. I'll just say that they better find a diamond in the rough, like what Mark D'Antonio was. It would serve them right to do so. I don't want to happen. Keep Jonathan Smith. Right. They'll be in poverty, in like poverty forever, but they won't. They'll fire him, and they should.
Well, Flannel, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. You crushed today. I'm glad we got the Flannel crash out. Flannel, it's the passionate Flannel we love, So keep being yourself, brother. We'll catch you next week, and just keep being you, man. You crushed today.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Jameson Williams is about to go for 100, and everybody's going to big for me next week.
I actually was thinking that, Flannel, while you were doing that. All I could think in my head was, I feel like Jamel's about to have a massive week after you probably just had that rant. That's how it usually works, though.
Yeah, bet the over at this point now. That Flannel said it.
He probably will, and that's great. My only point is that in order for Jameson Williams for the fans to still simp over him, to still victory lap, he has to actually produce in terms of numbers the way that you expect every other player who's hyped up that much to produce. And if he doesn't, as an individual, like Jameson Williams as an individual has had a disappointing season. That's not saying that he's not a cog. That's not saying that he hasn't been a valuable piece to this Lions offense, but he's just been, at times more of a decoy. But that's fine with Jameson Williams, Sims, because he's still a superstar. He's still put him on the All-Pro. Put him on the All-Pro over Jackson Smith and Jigba, because his decoy yards obviously make up for Jackson Smith and Jigba leading the whole bleeping NFL in a receiving yards. Okay, don't get me started again, but I could go all night.
Yeah, we know you can, Flannel. That's why we love you. We'll catch you next week, brother.
All right, catch you next week.
There
love
you go.
Flannel.
Sam Flannel joining the show, talking with the fellas, man. Doing a great job as always. Love having him on. We'll get him on every single week. Throw different things at him, see how he handles it. Because he handles
it's the best, dude. He's the greatest, man. I love Flannel.
Yeah, he's so funny, dude. Yeah, he's the best.
The super duper. I just tried to clip it here during the show. The super duper ooper boober. I think that was one of the greatest clips of all time in a live show history.
Yeah, I tried to Urban Dictionary bugaboo.
That's hilarious.
It's actually, I mean, there is an actual definition as to it's an object of fear or alarm. I feel like he actually used that correcally. I think
he could have. He said he made it up. It's a Flannelism.
He said there's some bugaboo to Ohio State. Now, I'll wait. It's on Twitter.
And people will still act like he's been a super duper uber boober star. He's been a super duper uber boober star.
Oh, wow. Dude, that's just such an all-time statement, man. That's just all-time.
The guy just shows up and produces. I mean, that's just what he does. Hey, well, we got mailbag. We got about 13 minutes left, and also
drop those questions, man. By the way, too, for people that are watching, again, tomorrow's show will be from 1 to 3 p.m. It's hard to do a show 8 to 10 on Halloween. I mean, it falls on a different day or day of the week each year. Same day, different day of the week. It's on a Friday.
Which is already
everyone. We'll probably have 20 people in the show tomorrow night if we do it at 8 o'clock. People out with their families, trick or treating, enjoying Halloween. It's a tough one. It's like doing a show on Thanksgiving, essentially, which we're going to have our live show, but or it's like, I don't know, like the 4th of July. If it falls on a Monday, we're not rolling, right? So similar situation. At least we're doing 1 to 3 though, and I'll only be there for an hour. Jeff will be a solo hour, unless maybe we can get some people to join around 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll do a 2-hour show tomorrow, 1 p.m. Randall says, where can we get our Flannel Sam dictionary?
That would be unbelievable. A Flannel Sam dictionary.
By the way, Irv Gotti, shout out to Irv, man. He says, what up, fellas? My wife surprised me with some Lions tickets. Shout out to your wife. That's big time. She's a real one. I hope I don't get too drunk. I'm excited as hell. I'll tell you this, Irv, whenever I start a sentence or I say, I hope I don't, typically I do. So enjoy yourself. Have a good time. And it'll be a great game, bro. So have some fun. Shout out to wifey. That's awesome, Irv. Yeah, my dad got to go to the Monday night game against the Buccaneers. He had a blast at Ford Field. That place is going to be rocking coming off that bye week. We'll find out who plays, by the way. I know Kirby didn't practice today, I don't believe. So that's probably one that's still a little questionable. But, yeah, we'll see. Xavier says, I understand you guys need to go trick-or-treating. Of course. That's what happens. That's what happens. Brendan Armstrong, mailbag. What is going on with Josh Paschal? The Doc asked Dan Campbell about him. Well, Brendan, we did talk about yesterday, and I got to speak. And Justin Rogers actually talked about this because he's super keyed in on a lot of that stuff. And Justin Rogers kind of confirmed that through kind of his sources that he doesn't believe it's anything cancerous. It's a non-football related injury, which we talked about yesterday. It doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be something serious. It could be an injury sustained off the football field, still non-football injury. And he's working with the same guy who Aleem was working with in his rehab. And it looked like he was doing shoulder. Again, these are just speculations, but it looked like he was doing almost like a shoulder workout or something like that. So yeah, I say all that to say he's still working back. I don't think it's
hopefully
anything
soon. That'd be nice.
Yeah, hopefully it's nothing end of season or anything.
How about this, Klotz? Can I answer first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lukas Klotz, mailbag, Booner and Jeff, update. Who is the best team in the NFL? Klotz missed our argument on Tuesday. Me and you went at it for about an hour about the best team in the NFL. Jeff, you know who mine is.
Yep, you have the Chiefs.
How about those Chiefs?
I have the Lions.
Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. And by the way, too, Lucas, the reason we got in such a big argument about it, it wasn't because of who we had at number one. It was because I have the Chiefs at number one, and Jeff Iafrate has the Kansas City Chiefs at number 6.
Yep.
And I actually made the statement, and I will die on this hill. I think that is the worst take or thing that Jeff has ever put out in his career as a sports broadcaster. Him having the Chiefs at number 6 is the worst take that he has ever had. No.
No, it's your opinion because I have data to back up my opinion.
No, you actually don't, because I brought the data. I brought the data that the Kansas City Chiefs since week 3 had the number 1 offense in the NFL, and right now they have the number 2 defense in the NFL. And you were just like, I don't care about how good they've been. They've played against bad teams. Oh, so they blew all those teams out.
It's funny because I countered that with who they played.
Exactly, and they played teams, and then I countered that with, oh, so they beat all of those teams by 30, and you're just ignoring that.
Yes.
Having them at 6, listen, I don't care the fact that you don't have them at number 1. Okay, we can agree to disagree on that. The fact that you have, I don't know, the Bucks, I think it was above them. You have them at 6. That's a top 3 team in the NFL. Whether you want to say 3, okay, I can deal with that. But having them at 6 is the worst
I don't think
of all time.
I think it's
your worst one.
Around a similar number.
No, I saw almost every single national media almost had them at 1 or 2.
I don't know what you're reading. Because I checked and I was like, oh, okay. It makes
Go
sense.
give me. You know what? We've done this last year where we were we argued. I didn't see a national. Send them to me after the show. That guy knows that I counter your counter, and then I'm gonna counter your counter to my counter.
By the way, not that I give a shit. I already had my list made before I looked, because at the end of the day, it's my power ranking.
For sure, but you're wrong.
I think if you're facing, if you're 1-3 against teams with a winning record, and your wins are against the Commanders with Marcus Mariota, the Raiders with Geno Smith, Ravens without Lamar, and Giants with Russ, I think it matters. So, and then the Lions, which is a big win.
Yeah, but like you're in the crazy thing is, and then let's end it after this because I don't want to keep arguing this because we argued it for an hour on Tuesday. But like you're always the biggest one on if you're gonna use this against a team, you have to also use the opposite. Like you can't like blame a team for beating a team they're supposed to beat. But then if they lose, but hold on, but then if they lose to them, you're gonna be like, well, you shouldn't have lost to them. Like you're the biggest person that says that, and then you still have them at 6.
No, but that's not in correlate. We're talking about it. Do they get credit for it? Yeah. Are they top 5 team? No.
Yes.
I don't think they are.
They would beat 3 or 4 of those top 5 teams if they played them tomorrow.
In your opinion. And by the way,
no, factually.
They did. Oh, they played the Eagles. If I remember correctly.
Before they got everyone back. We're talking about current day.
Oh, well, the Packers played the Lions healthy and they lost.
So then why don't you have the Packers above the Lions?
It's because it doesn't. Because listen,
exactly, that's the point. You put those teams.
You're bringing up.
You just disabled your own choice. Your point.
You can't bring up. You can't.
You literally just used that as your point, and then you brought up the point opposite. Yeah, you literally. Am I crazy that you just did that?
What you gotta listen to what I'm saying.
That is nuts.
Hold on. You cannot say this team would beat this team if they played it. Dude, you can't do that. That's not how you.
Did anyone? Am I nuts that this guy just countered his own counter? Like, did he? You literally just said you have the Eagles above them because the Chiefs.
You can't do that.
You literally just said in week. Hold on. Timeout 30. I love you. Hold on. 30-second timeout. You literally just used. You have the Eagles above them because the Eagles beat them in week 2, and then you're like, well, what about the? But then you said, what about the Packers with the Lions? They beat the Packers. Beat the Lions. Then why don't you have the Packers above the Lions?
No, I didn't. No,
you just
hold on. I'm not. Can I finish a fucking point, please, man? Jeez, let me finish a point. I never said I don't rank teams. I've told you this before. I don't rank teams. So you did that with the Eagles,
Chiefs. Then why aren't the Chiefs above the Eagles?
Bro, can I please finish my point? I've told you 1,000 times. I never said the Eagles are above the Chiefs because they beat them head-to-head. Because I don't have the Packers above the Lions. That doesn't matter. It doesn't. But you're the one who brings up the hypothetical one-on-one matchup thing. If the Chiefs face any of these top 5 teams, dude, the Chiefs.
Dude, am I crazy?
That aren't good.
Let's do some mailbag. We got some great mailbags
that aren't good. They've beaten teams that aren't good. And they've lost to good teams. One win they have against the Lions.
You don't use context as an example because they lost to good teams in the first 2 weeks without major pieces on their football team. And then when they got those pieces back, they've won 5 of their last 6, and they've beaten the bad teams by 20+ points every week. And you just refuse it. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
They've beaten bad teams.
All right, mailbag. Jay Hart said, Black-eyed Cade is a menace. However, if Dern get into the line consistently, will equal him 20+ points per game and 12 rebounds. He could make a case to be our number 2. Dern, our number 2? He has been hooping, actually. Like the game we went to, he had like 25 and 15. Yeah, no, he looks good. I proposed to trade today. I sent to the boys. Boys just completely ignored it. I appreciate you guys just ignoring my text throughout today. Send 5 first-round picks and Jaden Ivey to the Lakers and give us Austin Reeves.
It's never gonna
How about that? Put Cade Cunningham, Austin Reeves, and Jalen Duren on a team together.
In 2K, it sounds great.
I know. It would have been so sick. Brandon said mailbag, favorite and worst Halloween candy. Favorite, candy corn worst by far. Favorite is probably like Reese's or Kit Kats, dude. I love, the candy that I'm starting to really love, and I just actually thought about this morning. Well, not this morning. I was at work and I went to the Plum Market, and they had a bunch of candy there, dude. Those Reese's Fast Breaks where they're like wafers. They're kind of like Kit Kat wafers, but they're actually like Reese's.
Those are good.
Elite, dude. Those are so good. Oh my gosh.
I would say favorite Halloween candy. Give me, honestly, I like to see. I'm more of I like the original. Just give me a Reese. The Fast Break's good, but I just like a good old fashioned Reese. I like the Reese. Kit Kat. And if we're getting into some other things, give me some Skittles. Skittles are good. There's a lot of things, man. I mean, don't get me going. I like, hey, what doesn't get talked about enough? A good Crunch Bar. All right.
I don't. Yeah, there's a reason they don't get talked about. Crunch is bad.
I love Crunch bars.
Crunch. I loved Crunch when I was like 10 years old, and then when I grew up, I like realized
It's
like
literally chocolate. It's
yeah.
You act like it's a
if I'm
10-year-old
gonna eat
thing.
a Crunch bar, I'd rather just eat a Hershey's. You know, like or like if I want a Crunch, just give me like a Kit Kat. He thought you cooked with the Crunch bars.
No, this guy's acting like these opinions are just invalid. They're literally, I'm talking about.
That's your opinion. I'm giving my counter. This guy's getting angry. This Kansas City thing's really killed you, man. Yeah, it's a bet. I mean, when I was 12, I loved the Crunch bar. I'm not going at you. I'm just saying like they're not bad. Like I will eat if you gave me one. I'll be like, yeah, I'll eat it. But like that's probably like 22nd on my list of candies. Maybe like 23rd. If I listed ranked candies,
you see what you're doing. You see what you're doing.
No. Listen, I'm being honest. Like I don't know. I would probably they would be low on my list or a little.
Well, that's how I feel about fast breaks. But
like shop the VTG. Shout out to by the way. And by the way, I need to get some stuff. I need to go get some stuff. I need some new hats and some like retro merch desperately. But he said Twix. Like give me a Twix. Like Crunch or Twix. Twix. Reese's Crunch. Reese's. Peanut M&Ms Crunch. Peanut M&Ms.
Peanut.
Kit Kat Crunch. Kit Kat Crunch. Kit Kat. Snickers Crunch. Snickers.
Oh, Crunch. I don't like
Snickers. Well, that's
like
Snickers is an elite candy bar.
I honestly, I think Snickers is overrated. That's always been my take, though.
And you think peanut M&M, like all the good things you think are overrated.
What's your opinion's not objective? I don't know if you know this, Booner.
Why can't I say that I think your opinion? These are my opinions. Not you're getting mad at my opinions. My opinions are that your opinion. My opinions are that your opinions suck.
I don't give a shit. I don't even like.
Listen, you can have your opinions. I'm not telling you can't have opinions, but my opinion is that your opinions suck tonight. That's my opinion. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion. It's just my opinion that yours suck. That's it. You've had bad opinions tonight. Nothing else to it. Sorry.
It's tough.
Snickers are great. Elite. They're a top 5 snack or candy bar of all time. Peanut M&Ms, elite. Like majority of people would pick like we were golfing a couple weeks ago and we went into the clubhouse at the turn to get dogs and snacks, whatever it was. Jeff walks out with just original M&Ms, and I look at him. I go, "There is no chance that you picked original M&Ms over peanut M&Ms." Like that's to me. Like I did that when I was 8 years old, and I was at like I was in my 3rd grade class, and they handed out those little M&Ms, and they didn't have peanut ones because you couldn't have peanuts in schools.
1 p.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be live.
I didn't know. Hold on, we're still going. I'm having a good time. I didn't know like you couldn't have peanut M&Ms in school because people have allergies, so you were forced to eat normal M&Ms. Then when I graduated high school and I got into the real world, I was like, oh my gosh, these peanut M&Ms are the greatest things of all time.
We'll be live tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Jeff's still stuck in 3rd grade. This guy's like, give me my Crunch bar and my M&Ms originals.
We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Come join us. Booner will be there the first hour. I'll hold down the second hour.
How about those Chiefs? 1 o'clock tomorrow. See you guys.
Peace.
Love you guys. Peace.